Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Satsang. Let's make some silence first. So good morning again, everyone. Just reminding you that we use WhatsApp as a means of communication. You can send your questions. It comes directly to me. The number appears on the comments, so it's easy to see. So today, I'm going to talk about an important subject, which is thirst. I've spoken already about this, but it's never too much. So the thirst for liberation. This is the topic of today. This is a very important factor because, well, it is the thirst for liberation that drives you to where you need to really go. And the intensity of that thirst will determine how far can you go. If the thirst is mild, small, well, you can take care of many things at the same time. If it is just small thirst, well, you can call it curiosity. But then it goes, if it increases more, then it becomes an important aspect of your life. But when the thirst is intense or even unbearable, then it will drive you. If merit is there, of course, or if it has been gained through serious work, then it will drive you as a rocket. Because the thirst for liberation, it is what will allow you, enable you to go through where you need to go. Without it, well, you have to face a lot of things. Right, wrong, is it really needed? Do I really have to? Is this or that important? What is the importance of it? Is this better? Is this worse? There appears to be choices. But when the thirst becomes intense, you will try whatever you need to if guidance is not there to make it happen. Because, well, the path is not clear. It's not open. It is you who needs to open it. And this is done through the thirst. The thirst will make it possible what seems to be impossible. Will make you test things that you wouldn't previously without it. And the more the thirst increases, the more you will risk, the more you will go through. And in this way, you will exclude what's not, until finally, what is opens up, or guidance appears. But let's make clear one point. Guidance doesn't replace the thirst. If the guidance has replaced the thirst, suddenly guidance is there. Okay, you're dedicating yourself, you're working on your devotion and following what guidance is saying, but thirst has disappeared. Some confusion must have happened. Something must have been misplaced. In some way, your devotion has directed towards the body and towards the need or the quest for the satisfaction of still human desires. It has been lost, this liberation, And understand, this is quite easy to happen. It is quite common. Because once you're dedicated, then you have this all the time, these pullings to get out from the track. First, seekers struggle to transcend worldly life, to make it completely dedicated, focused to their freedom. And then those new circumstances, the next challenges is, there's this pullings for twisting those circumstances and adapting them to their personal needs, still worldly needs, of some sort, So if you found guidance, if you found your guru, and that thirst has disappeared, well, something must have gone wrong. And let's make some distinctions here which are important. The teacher's role, not the guru. Some of you make this the same thing. A teacher and the guru is the same because, well, guru has become a heavy word. But still, the word is still there. Nothing wrong with it. And it's still in its proper place. And confusing both, this is not good. It doesn't clarify. So the teacher's role is to teach and to inspire. Sometimes the guru makes this also, but that's not his main function. He works with one hand like that, and the other is different. At the same time that he is guiding, well, the thirst has to be there. And there's a difference in guiding and replacing. So as long as the inner pulse, the thirst that drives is there, there's something to be guided, to be directed. But if it's disappeared, so what is there to be guided? So surrendering to guidance, it doesn't mean that your drive disappears. No, it means that you give your drive to something to guide it, not to replace it. But understand, there's a part which is guiding and another part which is evaluating and seeing. Where are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go? What is your next drive? What is your heart impelling you to? And the more mature, the bigger the thirst. And that thirst, that is what elevates you, and that needs to be tempered after with the spiritual work. Tempering that thirst, that energy, that drive, it has nothing to do with the disappearance of the same. Nothing to do. So the guru is guiding, but at the same time is observing. And you unlock the doors by that thirst. In the absence of it, if you have reached so far to the point of getting guidance, and if you lost the thirst, confusion must have happened. and understand this quite clear. Freedom is your interest, not anyone else. Because there's this idea that you have to be inspired or something like that. That attitude doesn't take you very far. Your freedom is your interest. And if it is your interest, you work for it. Sometimes the guru goes there and says, look, wake up. What are you doing with your time? Have you forgotten the point of all of this? But that's not his role. And eventually, if you continue like this, life takes care and takes you back to where you started, to where you were previously, whatever that means. And believe me, it is exactly to where you started previously. So the quest for truth is like a bypass in the direction you are following. If eventually you get lost, you get back to the same track and take it where you were, onwards. Some don't know what this means, but some of you know exactly what this means by own experience. Guidance directs the impulses that come from the thirst. There's the first impulses, they are rajasic in nature. I want everything and I do whatever it takes, but this takes time and it has to be seen if this thirst continues, increases, matures. But it is the heart of the quest. That's what makes it possible, the impossible. That makes you see passages where there was nothing previously. So if the thirst is low, well, nothing there that really matters yet from the master's point of view. And it's a big difference between, you can be learning something spiritually speaking, but it will be very different if the thirst is there or if it isn't. One, there is life, there is something to be given. The other, it's irrelevant. And this is quite common. This transition from a worldly life with worldly circumstances to spiritual circumstances. And this idea, not an idea, but this mindset that, okay, so now it's done and now it's just, well, slowly, slowly. No, those new circumstances are the new field of work. They are there for something. They are not the thing. So it is quite common. People go to ashrams and things like that, and they forget what they're doing there. They get entertained by their chores and all those things. But even if the master does it, it's not its role to wake you up for your own work. This is your world. Either you have the thirst or you don't. So take it as a sign. The presence of the thirst, the intensity of the thirst. Many ask, how long will it take? Well, one key factor is the thirst, of course. It's the driving force that makes you establish in a living process, that makes the fire come. It can be a fire, intense fire, or can be a sweet fire from devotion, but this is other topic. And both can be there. But let's keep it to the main subject today. The thirst is main factor and will always continue to be. Guidance doesn't replace this. It directs this. So if you lost it, get it back because, well, you have gone distracted for sure. So it can take a lot of time, it can be short, it depends. But be sure of this. The lower the thirst, more time it takes. Because it will take a long time to engage. And it's like you have a distance to go. If you don't start that journey, how will you end it? And without the thirst, there is no actual journey. And when the seeker is, everybody speaks about balance these days. So when the seeker is balancing his worldly life with his spiritual quest and all of this, it means it's just boring. No intensity there, no actual thirst. So the teacher's work is to teach, give the basis, the fundamentals, and to inspire, to take the student to the level of a disciple, to make it possible for the thirst to come. But where are the teachers these days? Everything is about political correctness. Political, not spiritual. Spiritual teachers these days are becoming the enemies of the spiritual quest because they are aligning the values of worldly life with the spiritual life. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and read the stories, the ancient stories, the models, all of that. The thirst is the fuel. So there's need for fuel, an engine, lots of things are needed. But if everything is stop, if you have no fuel, well, you will not budge. But if you have fuel, if the engine is weak, if the structure is weak, it will get strengthened. So the thirst is the core. And when there's no path for you, You will hit the head against the wall many and many times, endless times, until a path opens up. Okay. Elen, Namaste. What is your definition of mental and where is it located? Thank you. Well, Elen, these are the questions that I don't answer because, well, this is a teacher's role. And these kinds of questions, they are more connected to curiosity, to concepts, definitions, studies, and this is not, like I was saying today, it's all about the thirst. So questions that come, that are about the thirst, that express the thirst, these are the ones that I deal with. Another one which was translated from French. Don't know who it is, but well, if it's important, it will be there. Hello, how do we concretely go about harmonizing with the divine? I'm not sure what this means. What I talk about here is to realize the divine, not about harmonizing with the divine. So harmonizing with the divine, it means there's something which isn't divine, which is harmonizing with divine, and well, I don't deal with here. And these days there's a movement, a worldly movement that aims to become more spiritual. It's a shift in values that it is happening. Some call it a spiritual movement, that the golden age where everybody will be enlightened. But no, just the values of worldly life are changing. And what is a spiritual life today, it will be a worldly life tomorrow. Different values. People will base their lives more according to spiritual values, but the thirst is about worldly values. It's about worldly life. What is a worldly life? The satisfaction of the body-mind complex and its characteristics, the context where it is. It's not about transcendence. It's about a better life, a more spiritual life. And that's not what I deal with. Here's about freedom. So it's not harmonizing with the divine, it's realization of the divine, realization of who you are, transcending that which wants to harmonize. My friend, I will answer your question now. Dear Shima, first of all, thank you. For some time I have been realizing more deeply during my meditation an emotional calm, thoughts, but I see more clearly that it is observed, a strong presence which I have, the observer. And it is this same presence which observes the discomfort of the position and who puts an action or not. I feel a strong presence which observes this, the same which feels the discomforts of the position. This same consciousness which decides whether I should move or not. I would like, where at this moment where I stand, to go beyond this conscious observation. Also, for some time during my meditation, an Om arises spontaneously as well as mantras. Also, you say that reading alone does not help to rise. I read Yogananda like my Bible and helped me. What can you enlighten me where I am? Well, so there's an observer, this calm presence. But as I understand it, in meditation, Om arises spontaneously as well as mantras. So it is more or less, it's probably silent meditation. Probably. If it isn't, please clarify. But these days it is quite common, this silent meditation. And it is good. It is real good. But usually it's not really silent meditation. It is an open space for the manifestation of whatever is there. And that we cannot call it meditation. So it probably takes the same place, probably, because everything tends to do so, eventually, with time, sometimes with a lot of time. This is why there are techniques of meditation. And the technique of meditation, the focus on whatever object, either a mantra or some technique, it's about to bring this consciousness about the observer, that which is there, this presence that you talk about. But the vision of this doesn't really clarify about the maturity to be under this. Because as this is there strong, then this becomes the object of meditation. But all of this is directed through guidance. So the mantras, the techniques, eventually, if needed, because they can go a different way also, but eventually, if it leads to this observation of the observer, as it becomes strong, present, then attention moves to it, as it is clear and vivid and felt strongly. When it is said that it is a strong presence, it means that it is taking you over you, and you cannot move. You are just taken by it. It's like a trance state, not the same. And then that becomes the object of meditation. It's like attention is focused into the object, the meditation technique, and is being held still there. And as the observer, with time, is visible, distant from the objects, then it becomes the object, so it turns to itself and stays there. So steadiness of the mind is very important. But when this space is just there and you're just in silence and thoughts are coming or not, they are doing whatever they want, this steadiness is not there. So you may be aware of the observer, and you may use the observer as an object of meditation. It's what's natural after hearing this. But that doesn't mean that it is mature. Then the observer will become the object of meditation as a meditation technique in itself. But it is felt, but it is going and coming, going and coming. And for that purpose, there are better meditation techniques. But again, this is all up to guidance. Because techniques and spiritual practice, they are not about the result in itself. The results come with the main thing is in place. They are there to see, for you to put in practice the level of your thirst, the level of your dedication, commitment, the level of your attachments, the level of the sacrifices that you are, that it is possible for you. This is what they are measuring. So fruits of that work come after these measurements. It's very different from, oh, I have a lemon, I squeeze it, add some water, I have some lemonade. It's not that way. So the meditation technique where you focus your attention, it's about purging, cleaning, purifying. It's an expression of yoga. Purifying, purification of the mind, the body and mind. This purification, this is what enables silence and stillness. And this will be very important when you turn your attention to the observer, because you are supposed to have some stillness already. And this idea of always being in an advanced mode, this is a hindrance. And for what I see, usually, those who think that are more advanced are usually more beginners, and vice versa. Because those who have more humility, those are in the front. And humility has nothing to do with low self-esteem. Absolutely nothing. So I stand to go beyond this conscious observation also for some time during my meditation. Well, what is visible here is that these mantras are arising for a reason. They are showing that a proper meditation technique is needed. It's like life is coming to that process, but a good technique, a good tool for that work is needed. Then it can be through that observer or not. Don't let yourself condition by that. It can go both ways, but it grows on its own and it shows the direction. Either one or the other, focus is crucial. This just being there and observing and with the mind free, loose, no. Either sitting in meditation or walking around without being formally sitting in meditation, mind must be continue to make focus. So this, after meditation, what usually tends to happen, a formal meditation, is the mind has been held. For some, for those who are just free, it doesn't change anything. The mind has been held steady, struggled a little bit, maintain steadiness, then it's released and it goes about programming what it's there to be done and all these things, jumping around like a crazy monkey. And then as these habits are strengthened, then you want the next sitting, you will struggle with it again and then give it freedom again. No focus. This brings nothing. The body moves to make its activities. The mind continues in a check mode. Either with a mantra or holding on to whatever is being done. Of course, mantra is preferable, but it's not, you don't let it wander. And this goes eventually to every small detail. But only a very intense level of thirst can bring about this intense concentration, dedication. There are certain things that only the thirst can make possible. Okay, so that's it for today. If you have any questions about this or something else, you know the drill. You can send to that number of WhatsApp that appears there, and it will be answered in the next satsang. Until then, make your time count. Watch.